This top 10 best horror movies are so good, even the legends would piss on their bed after watching this movies. 10. Candyman. 9. Ringu. 8. From Dusk Till Dawn. 7. Bram Stoker's Dracula. 6. Army of Darkness. 5. Brain Dead. 4. The Sixth Sense. 3. The Blair Witch Project. 2. Scream. 1. The Silence of the Lambs. Before that, guys, answer me this. What's the difference between a Lamborghini and a dead body? I don't have a Lamborghini in my garage. 10. Candyman. Candyman is a horror film based on Clive Barker's story, The Forbidden. It centers around the urban legend of the Candyman, a vengeful spirit summoned when someone repeats his name 5 times in front of a mirror. The story unfolds in Chicago, where Helen Lyle, a graduate student, investigates the legend of the Candyman for her thesis. As she delves deeper into the folklore, she discovers a series of brutal murders linked to the Candyman myth. As Helen explores the dark history of the Candyman, she becomes entangled in the terrifying truth behind the legend. She discovers the tragic story of a tortured artist, Daniel Robitaille, who becomes the Candyman after falling in love with a white woman and suffering a gruesome fate due to societal prejudices. The film explores themes of urban legends, racial tensions, and the consequences of historical injustices. It blends psychological horror with social commentary, creating a chilling and thought-provoking narrative. Candyman is renowned for its atmospheric storytelling, eerie atmosphere, and Tony Todd's haunting performance as the titular character. It has become a cult classic in the horror genre, leaving a lasting impact on audiences with its unsettling tale of folklore and vengeance. 9. Ringu. Ringu is a Japanese horror film that follows the story of a cursed videotape that brings death to anyone who watches it exactly 1 week after viewing. The film centers around investigative journalist Reiko Asakawa, who becomes involved in the mystery surrounding the cursed tape after the death of her niece, Tomoko. As Reiko delves deeper into the case, she discovers the existence of the cursed videotape and learns about a disturbing urban legend connected to it. Determined to uncover the truth behind the curse and save herself from its deadly consequences, she enlists the help of her ex-husband, Ryuji. Their investigation leads them to unravel a dark and haunting backstory involving a young girl named Sadako Yamamura, who possesses supernatural abilities and a tragic past. They uncover secrets and horrifying truths while racing against time to break the curse before their own 7-day deadline arrives. 8. From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn is a hybrid action horror film directed by Robert Rodriguez, written by Quentin Tarantino, and starring George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino himself. The story follows 2 criminal brothers, Seth and Richie Gecko, who are on the run to Mexico after a string of violent crimes. As they flee, the Geckos kidnap a family and take them hostage to help them get across the border. They end up at a bar called the Titty Twister, a seedy establishment in the middle of nowhere. Unbeknownst to them, the bar is populated by vampires, and when night falls, chaos ensues as the patrons transform into bloodthirsty creatures. The film takes a sharp turn from a crime thriller to a horror action spectacle as the survivors, including the Geckos, the hostages, and a few others, must fight for their lives against the horde of vampires. The second half of the movie is a blend of gory violence, dark humor, and over-the-top action sequences. From Dusk Till Dawn is praised for its genre-bending narrative and its ability to shift from a crime drama to a horror flick seamlessly. The collaboration between Rodriguez and Tarantino creates a unique and thrilling film that has gained a cult following for its stylish direction, eclectic cast, and unexpected twists. 7. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula is a gothic horror film directed by Francis Ford Coppola, loosely based on the classic novel by Bram Stoker. The movie presents a visually stunning and romanticized take on the iconic vampire tale. The story revolves around Count Dracula, a centuries-old vampire who travels to London in pursuit of love and revenge. He becomes fixated on Mina Murray, the fiancée of young solicitor Jonathan Harker. As Dracula infiltrates London society, he uses dark powers to seduce and manipulate Mina, believing her to be the reincarnation of his lost love, Elisabetta. The film explores Dracula's tragic backstory, depicting his transformation from a noble warrior fighting against the Ottoman Empire to a vampire cursed by grief after his beloved Elisabetta's tragic death. His pursuit of Mina leads to a battle between darkness and love as he faces off against those who seek to stop his reign of terror. Bram Stoker's Dracula is known for its lavish set designs, elaborate costumes, and visually striking cinematography. It explores themes of love, obsession, and eternal damnation, portraying Dracula as a complex and tormented character rather than a straightforward villain. The film's blend of horror, romance, and sumptuous visuals has made it a notable adaptation of the classic vampire tale. 6. Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness is a horror comedy film directed by Sam Raimi and is the third installment in the Evil Dead series. The story follows Ash Williams, played by Bruce Campbell, who finds himself transported back in time to the medieval era after being sucked into a time portal at the end of Evil Dead 2. In this new timeline, Ash, armed with his chainsaw hand and a shotgun, is mistaken for a prophesied hero who can save the kingdom from the Deadites, evil demonic forces led by the malevolent Deadite sorcerer. To return to his own time, Ash is tasked with retrieving the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, which has the power to send him back, but could also bring about the Deadites' ultimate power. The film blends horror and slapstick comedy as Ash battles hordes of Deadites with his trademark wit and bravado. His encounters with various creatures, including his evil doppelganger, provide moments of both terror and humor. 5. Brain Dead. Brain Dead, also known as Dead Alive, is a gory horror comedy film directed by Peter Jackson. The story revolves around Lionel Cosgrove, a young man living with his overbearing and controlling mother in a small New Zealand town. When Lionel falls in love with Paquita, a local shopkeeper, their blossoming romance angers his mother. During an outing, his mother is bitten by a Sumatran rat monkey, turning her into a zombie. As she infects others, chaos erupts, and Lionel struggles to contain the growing zombie horde in his house. The film is known for its extreme gore and over-the-top, cartoonish violence. As the zombie outbreak spreads, Lionel attempts to conceal the situation from authorities while desperately trying to prevent the zombies from taking over. Brain Dead is celebrated for its outrageous and creative use of practical effects, showcasing inventive and grotesque scenes of zombie mayhem. The movie is infamous for having some of the most elaborate and absurd zombie-related sequences in cinema history. 4. The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense is a psychological thriller directed by M. Night Shyamalan, known for its suspenseful storytelling and unexpected twist ending. The film centers on Dr. Malcolm Crowe, a child psychologist played by Bruce Willis, who is trying to help a young boy named Cole Sear, portrayed by Haley Joel Osment. Cole possesses a troubling secret. He can see and communicate with the dead. Initially hesitant to share his ability with Dr. Crowe, Cole eventually opens up about his encounters with ghostly entities seeking closure from their unfinished business on Earth. Dr. Crowe, haunted by the failure to help a former patient, becomes determined to aid Cole while also facing his own personal demons. As their bond deepens, Dr. Crowe helps Cole understand and harness his gift, offering support and guidance as Cole grapples with his extraordinary abilities. The film builds tension and suspense as it gradually reveals the extent of Cole's encounters with the supernatural. The twist ending, which has become iconic in cinema, provides a shocking revelation that reshapes the entire narrative, leaving viewers re-evaluating the events they witnessed throughout the movie. that reshapes the entire narrative, leaving viewers reevaluating the events they witnessed throughout the movie. 3. Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow is a dark fantasy horror film directed by Tim Burton, loosely based on Washington Irving's short story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The movie follows Constable Ichabod Crane, played by Johnny Depp, as he investigates a series of brutal decapitations in the secluded town of Sleepy Hollow. Crane, a skeptical and rational investigator, arrives in Sleepy Hollow to uncover the mystery behind the murders. He faces superstition and folklore, encountering the legend of the Headless Horseman, a vengeful spirit believed to be responsible for the killings. As Crane delves deeper into the investigation, he navigates a world of supernatural occurrences and dark secrets. He teams up with Katrina Van Tassel, played by Christina Ricci, and confronts the Headless Horseman in a quest to unravel the truth behind the murders and put an end to the curse plaguing the town. The film showcases Tim Burton's signature visual style, blending Gothic aesthetics with eerie atmospheres and fantastical elements. It features stunning cinematography, elaborate set designs, and a haunting musical score by Danny Elfman, creating a chilling and immersive experience. 2. Scream. Scream is a horror film directed by Wes Craven that revitalized and redefined the slasher genre. Set in the fictional town of Woodsboro, the movie follows high school student Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell, who becomes the target of a masked killer known as Ghostface. The story begins with a series of gruesome murders that occur after Sidney's mother's death, bringing attention to the town's dark past. Ghostface, inspired by horror movie cliches and conventions, begins targeting Sidney and her friends, preying on their fears and knowledge of horror films. As the killings escalate, suspicion falls on various characters, including Sidney's boyfriend Billy, her friends, and others in the community. The movie plays with the typical tropes of the slasher genre while subverting audience expectations, creating an atmosphere of suspense and mystery. Throughout the film, characters frequently discuss horror movie rules and cliches, adding a self-aware and meta aspect to the storytelling. This approach both pays homage to and critiques the conventions of the genre. Scream is known for its sharp and witty dialogue, suspenseful sequences, and a blend of horror and humor. It garnered acclaim for revitalizing the slasher genre by injecting new life into familiar tropes. The film's success led to several sequels and left a significant impact on horror cinema, influencing subsequent films and shaping the way modern audiences perceive and appreciate the genre. And we're finally down to number 1. Better follow, subscribe this channel. Before I turn to famous celebrity. 1. The Silence of the Lamb. The film centers around FBI trainee Clarice Starling, portrayed by Jodie Foster, as she seeks assistance from the incarcerated psychiatrist and cannibalistic serial killer Dr. Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, in capturing another serial killer, Buffalo Bill. Starling, eager to make a name for herself in the FBI, is tasked with interviewing Lecter to gain insights into the disturbed mind of Buffalo Bill. Lecter, a brilliant and manipulative psychiatrist, agrees to help Starling, but only in exchange for personal information and probing into her own troubled past. As Starling delves deeper into the case, she engages in a tense psychological battle with Lecter, trying to extract information while guarding herself against his manipulative tactics. Meanwhile, Buffalo Bill continues his killing spree, abducting young women to use their skin for his own purposes. The film masterfully weaves elements of suspense, psychological intrigue, and horror, exploring themes of power, manipulation, and the darkness of the human psyche. Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins deliver unforgettable performances, with Hopkins' portrayal of Hannibal Lecter earning him an Academy Award for Best Actor in a leading role, despite his limited screen time.